Costco has decided to go against the grain and absorb the higher costs that manufacturers are charging them due to inflation. They're doing this instead of passing down the inflationary cost to the consumer. And it turns out that their financial partners, Citibank in particular, Citigroup, not too happy about it. During their recent earnings call, Costco's management actually pushed back against one Citigroup analyst who ain't about that life, okay? You should be forcing your customers to pay more, okay? You're gonna increase your profits, and then that means you're gonna increase our profits, okay? That's what we need you to do.
Why does the banker sound like Trump?
No, because the bankers are all mob bosses, that's why, okay? That's why.
That's what a mob boss sounds like?
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, but
we're gonna need you to increase your profits. That doesn't really sound like a mob boss. But I hear you.
Now, here's what happened. Again, earnings call, they do this every quarter. This is for investors and analysts to decide whether or not they want to keep investing and analyzing the company that's having the earnings call. Wall Street is pushing Costco for higher profits at the expense of customers, writes More Perfect Union. In yesterday's earnings call, Costco's management faced pressure around its decision to absorb some grocery inflation instead of raising prices. Why make that decision? A Citigroup analyst asked. Why make that decision, huh? Why make that decision?
Now, but by the way, now beginning to sound more like a mob boss, both in style and substance, because I could see a mob boss say, "You cost us money. Why you make this decision, huh?"
Totally.
Why you make this decision?
But we should envision it in that exact way, okay?
Yes.
Because think about what they're asking for. In fact, I don't need you to think about it.
Don't even think about it.
I'll tell you what they're.
She's gonna say it right
what they're up to. Now, the analyst argued that Costco could have pushed prices higher because, get a load of this, consumers have been, quote, happy to take increased price, especially in fresh.
I think you're fresh.
They're happy to take the increased price, okay?
They're
Mr.
happy about it.
Calamari, okay? Alan Weisselberg.
Yeah. Now, Tony went over and talked to them and made sure that they're happy to take the increased price. Okay, and everything's all fresh now. So go ahead, Costco, give them the higher price. They're happy about it. But Costco says no. In a shocking turn of events.
They say no, and it is a smart business strategy. I think that they end up winning at the end of the day, and I'll tell you why. But I do also want to give More Perfect Union a lot of credit for their thoroughness in putting in parentheses that fresh refers to products like produce, meat, and dairy, okay?
Okay, good.
And he continues to say, or actually Costco's CFO responds with, in our view, people notice those price differences. And he's absolutely right about that. Now remember, when we recently covered some of the proposed grocery chain mergers, we disclosed just how many grocery store companies actually exist, and there aren't very many options. There's like 4 of them, right? So the grocery industry is really monopolizing, and as a result, consumers really have no choice but to deal with the higher prices as they're being price gouged by these grocery chains. But Costco has decided to go in a different direction, and that really has been part of their business model from the beginning. That's part of the reason why they've been so successful. You know, the way that they carry out their whole shopping experience is very different. You go into a giant warehouse, there are pallets, stacked up to the ceiling. You have to be a Costco member, of course, to shop there, but everything is far more affordable because either, they get to offer lower prices because there are no bells and whistles when you go to the warehouse to buy products at Costco. And also if they deal with some of these manufacturers who are maybe increasing their prices due to inflation, well, Costco has its own private label. Let's take a look at the video. It explains a little more about that.
I got the Kirkland brand microwave popcorn. I got 2 packs of bottled water.
Kirkland is Costco's, private label brand. It's their store brand. It's a brand that when they want to offer something at a certain price that they don't feel a manufacturer, a supplier can do it, they build it themselves.
Since it was launched in 1995, the in-house brand has built a reputation for quality and low prices on everyday items. Today, Kirkland products make up a quarter of Costco's $166 billion in annual sales.
So Costco is basically letting the manufacturers know, oh, you're gonna charge us inflated prices for these products. How about we have our own private label, we can manufacture this product ourselves, slap the Kirkland brand on it and sell it. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like the video states, and look, this isn't a plug, this isn't like an advertisement for Costco. This is genuinely how I feel about Costco. The Kirkland products are good quality, right? Oftentimes when you buy the store brand version of whatever the item is, you're giving up a little bit of quality in order to save some money. In my experience, that hasn't been the case with Kirkland.
All right, well, God bless. Look, I know a lot of digital media companies that used to do these kind of things for real as an ad, right?
Right.
They'd be like, I was just at Walmart. I'll tell you, their cheese bowls are delicious. Okay, so that's not what's going on here. But we do want to encourage and reward good guy companies. And there's a thing called the good economy. So I don't know if the Costco's technically part of it, but I know that they've done a lot of things where you go, oh wow, look at Costco taking care of their employees, paying higher wages, now blocking higher prices, good quality product. And by the way, guys, so like capitalism's taking a beating here in America for good reason, because in my opinion, it got swallowed up by corporatism, which is just awful, and everybody despises right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter, right? But here's an example of capitalism working right. This is actually partly how it's supposed to work. The reason why it doesn't work this way in terms of creating competition, which lowers prices and brings you better products, is because we really don't have capitalism in America anymore. The corporations captured the government, so then they don't really need to compete. That's why Costco's kind of driving the entire market crazy. They're like, stop it. We had a good thing going. We can charge them whatever the hell we want. They're happy to take it, right? Because they don't have any other choices and they have to eat. But now you're giving them another goddamn choice.
Right, well, Costco isn't part of these big chain monopolies, right? And so as a result, it serves as a competition.
Yes.
And that competition is so incredibly important, and they've decided to go with a business. Look, okay, let's just call it what it is, because I also don't want to be one of these like dopey, hosts that's like, oh, they're doing this because they're so moral and they're so kind. No, they're doing it because they see this as the more effective business model.
But by the way, I don't see that much of a distinction between those two things. If you think that the right business model is to be good to people and your employees and customers, well, that's great. I hope you make a lot of money from it. I hope you make tons and tons of money from it.
I know,
because you're keeping the price at a place where we could pay them, right?
Right.
Your margin is at a reasonable rate, and that's what a good company is supposed to do. If you lowered any past that, you're not going to be sustainable, and then you're not going to even exist.
Okay, let me explain what I mean, though. I think that it is a common mistake to think of either politicians or companies as either moral or immoral. There is no morality involved at all. Let's just keep it real. Maybe in some cases when it comes to some politicians, but even then I'm willing to debate that. When it comes to companies, morality is not part of the mix at all. They are driven by incentives and disincentives. So for instance, if I think about this on a very personal level, I've had a Costco membership, but it's just me and my husband, right? We don't have a big family, and going to Costco, even though we had the membership, didn't always make sense because buying things in bulk seems too much, right?
Yeah, me too.
However, during this inflationary period, some of our favorite grocery items, for instance, there's a brand of bread that we really like. It went from $5 a loaf to $8 a loaf.
That's a lot.
At the grocery store closest to where we live.
Were you happy to receive that?
I wasn't happy to receive that. I must be honest. To the dismay of this wonderful Citigroup analyst, I wasn't happy. But nonetheless, once I realized that you could buy 2 loaves of that bread in a pack at Costco for $10, meaning I'm going back to paying $5 a loaf.
Yeah.
I jump in it, right? So I started shopping at Costco more.
Yeah.
And I do all my grocery shopping
That's
there
how
now.
the free markets are supposed to work. But we don't have free markets because of all the corruption. There's definitely someone, the leader of Costco is clearly a smart and moral guy based on the decisions that I've seen.
You can't say moral.
Hold on. But I'm getting to your point now.
Yeah.
Okay, I said the leader must be, okay? But look at the pressure that he's under because it's a public corporation. The Citibank goons are coming in going, everybody's happy to receive the price. What's the matter with you, right? And they are turning down some profits. They're literally turning down profits now. Again, it's good business because you're turning down short-term profits for more long-term profits and more sustained profits, right? So it's smart. But there's pressure in the markets to be greedy, to think short term, and to give me the goddamn money right now.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So they have a much better, in my opinion, business strategy, long-term strategy, and they're still bringing in quite a bit in revenue. For instance, in the last quarter, they brought in a whopping $53 billion in revenue. So they ain't hurting, okay?
In one quarter, guys.
In one quarter, that's how much they brought in.
That means it's coming over $200 billion for the whole year.
And if you're wondering on how much it has impacted their bottom line in regard to refusing to pass on the inflated manufacturer prices to the consumers, well, their profit margin honestly isn't impacted all that much. So their profit margin would have been 12.7%. And since they're not price gouging their customers, it is now 12.2%. So 0.5% difference.
No, but in Wall Street, that's a huge difference.
I get it, yeah, but go ahead and cry about it, Citigroup. Go ahead and cry about it.
And by the way, so it's not a matter of crying. What they do is like, okay, we're gonna mark you down. That's what the analyst's job is. So these guys are not greedy enough. So we're gonna punish you by suggesting to people that they should sell your stock and your stock price is gonna go down. And apparently they've got a leader smart enough to go, have at it, Hoss. Okay, I'm willing to take the short-term hit to build a better business. And he is building a better business because like Anna had that experience well before this article came out, and you're hearing it from other people. And yes, in the long run, if you provide a good service and you're good to your community, you do better. And guys, look, if you're on the left, you wanna encourage that. Because everyone else, the entire market is encouraging the opposite, right? But the way that you do basically a consumer revolution is say, no, I'm gonna go to the good guys. I'm not gonna go to the bad guys. And so our society, it's not just the stock market, is structured around making the bad guys feel good and the good guys feel bad. Why? Because the bad guys are like, oh, smart, savvy businessmen made as much money as possible. They're geniuses. What a great CEO, right? A good guy says, no, let's build a long-term business. They're like, oh, you think you're a good guy? And what are you gonna do, keep the money? Ha ha, he kept the money. Wait, hold on, so did the other prick. And he was way worse. And it's better that you make money doing something positive in the world than make money doing something terrible in the world, as most corporations are doing.